Part 61. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 601. Chapter 601, Save Some Face. If he can really face off against Xianxia later, he will be more confident. After all, there is so little information about Xianxia on the mainland that it is difficult to understand him as a person. Lu Yu was born in the home of the lord of the continent and is very familiar with conspiracies. He never believes in what a person shows on the surface, he only believes in the results of his own mental analysis. I have always thought that Xianxia was a person from an inferior continent. Even if he was talented, he was not worthy of his attention. He doesn't think so now. Yanxiangluo knew that from now on, it was the time for Xianxia to really show his cultivation strength, and she could only watch. Glancing at the soul body in front of her, she realized upon closer inspection that this woman was not bad looking, but she had become the spiritual body of the sword because she had been trapped for many years. The whole soul body looked eerie and lost. The beauty of women. Yes, Yanxiangluo did not destroy her soul body, but separated her soul body from the long sword when Xianxia was about to refine the long sword. But he used the power of soul control to trap her. She could only stay 3 steps away from her, unable to leave or attack her. Whether it was the promise of getting the gentleman's sword or the necessary state of mind to practice as a heavenly master, she would never destroy a soul body like this. She can easily destroy the soul body, but she cannot do it arbitrarily. She must make sure that the other party has reached that point. This is what she learned after practicing the power of soul control, otherwise there would be karma on her. She doesn't want to be burdened with the consequences for no reason. Qi Hao, who was eating, shuddered, "Master, why are you suddenly feeling cold?" Qi Hao looked left and right and saw nothing. There was no wind. Although it is late autumn now, the winter here is full of greenery, the temperature is also very warm, and it is not so cold. Besides, he is a monk now, and he has heard that the monk is afraid of the cold. Yanxiangluo glanced at the soul-body woman, who immediately moved to Fang 11er's side in fear. There is no way, no compromise. This little girl is so powerful. She can separate her soul from the weapon. This is not something you can do if you are a heavenly master. After the woman in the soul body moved over, Fang 11er also got an idea and murmured doubtfully, "It's a little cold." Yanxiangluo twitched the corner of her mouth, and raised her hand to wrap a layer of soul-controlling power around her soul body, so that no one would feel the yin energy of the woman in her soul body. Sure enough, Qi Hao and Fang 11er both muttered in confusion, "Why isn't it cold anymore?" Yanxiangluo did not answer their words and watched the competition on the ring. Normally, the soul body cannot appear outside during the day. This soul body can stay outside because of her soul controlling power. When the game is over, go back and find out her origins and then decide how to deal with her. In this battle, Xianxia did feel suppressed by his strength. His opponent's cultivation level was very stable, which showed that his opponent was a person with very practical combat experience. He should have gone out to practice fighting frequently. The other party did not underestimate Xianxia just because his cultivation level was 1 level lower than his. For a person who cultivated to the holy level to be able to stand here and fight with him, it was obvious that it was not just luck. It was only when he actually fought that he realized how strong Xianxia's fighting power was. Although he did not use all his strength, he still used 8 points, but he was only tied with Xianxia. He could see that Xianxia did not use all his strength either. Both of them are in the testing stage, observing each other and trying to find the other's flaws. For the same master, flaws are not so easy to find. After Qi Hao had eaten, he saw that the battle was not over yet, so he said to Yanxiangluo, "Master, it's a little difficult for Master to win this battle. You will know in the future that nothing in this world is easy to achieve." Yanxiangluo agreed with Qi Hao's words. After all, the level of cultivation is there. No matter how strong Xuanhuan is and how high his ability to leapfrog is, it's also impossible to win the game easily. She glanced at Lu Yu. Although she didn't have a good impression of Lu Yu, she had to admit that Lu Yu's cultivation talent was extremely high. He has a bye this round. After Xuanhuan wins the game, he will face Lu Yu. I am afraid it will be much harder to beat him than this game. Half an hour passed, and the battle between the two people really started. In an instant, the two people were no longer visible. The arena was shaking continuously, and the demigod barrier was also shaking. Although they couldn't see it, everyone could see it. It can be felt. It can be seen that the battle between the two was fierce. After all, whoever wins will be guaranteed second place and have a chance to compete for first place. This situation lasted for half an hour and then suddenly stopped. After the battle aperture disappeared, the two figures appeared. Both of them were in a state of embarrassment. Although they were both standing on the ring, they were both in bad condition. Xianxia raised her apricot eyes, and it seemed like she couldn't tell the winner. However, she could see from Xuanhuan's eyes that Xuanhuan was sure to win this match. As expected, Xuanhuan spoke first. Do you want to continue? Xuanhuan is such a person. You respect me and I respect you. If the opponent fights with him openly, he will also save some face for the opponent. The other party looked at him for a while and then said, I give up. The people watching and the people on the referee's stand were very surprised. They really didn't expect Xuanhuan to win again. Is this year's competition going to have the same embarrassing results as last time? The other side admitted defeat, and the game was over. The two walked down the ring together. The other side looked at Xuanhuan and said, You are indeed very strong. Xuanhuan said modestly, Thank you. The other party shook his head and smiled. To be honest, if you can come out of the next ring alive, how about we become friends? Xuanhuan was startled and glanced at the other party. Seeing that his eyes were clear, he also smiled and said, It's a deal. The two looked at each other and smiled, and a feeling of sympathy arose spontaneously. Without saying anything else, they got off the ring together. Although these people couldn't hear the two people talking, they could still see the two people's expressions getting along clearly. Everyone was surprised. They were obviously rivals, so why did they feel like friends? Xianxia smiled. They came from a lower continent and had no friends here. Now that she had Fang 11 she also hoped that Xuanhuan would no longer be as lonely as in the Tianqian continent. Apart from getting along with his subordinates, he had no friends. Fang 11 is like discovering a new world. You two are indeed a perfect match. Xianxia was speechless. She was going to keep expressing her feelings today, whether she felt that Xuanhuan was special or that they were a perfect match. Xianxia is now more concerned about when the next game will start. Xuanhuan will definitely lose if he plays against Lu Yu in his current state. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 602. The two of them got off the ring. BeautifulFemaleLead looked at the two demigods and saw demigod Weilan saying to demigod Changhong, Xuanhuan has just finished a battle. Let's rest for half an hour and let him recover his spiritual power. Changhong demigod also knew that it would be unethical to proceed directly to the next game like this, but he thought of what the palace master said before coming, and the first place must not be a person from the lower continent. Changhong's demigod raised his eyebrows. Xuanhuan was just one step away. If he beat Lu Yu, he would be in first place. He couldn't do anything in front of everyone, he could only let Xuanhuan recover his strength. It's not that good, so Lu Yu will have more opportunities. How long did you take to rest in previous games? Changhong asked, looking at BeautifulFemaleLead. Demigod Weilan immediately understood what he meant. He also looked at BeautifulFemaleLead, who smiled bitterly in his heart. It was really the devil who suffered when gods fight. In this case, he could only say truthfully, according to records, in previous games, there was a quarter-hour break in this situation. There were people in the continental competition who didn't know the rules. Demigod Wei Lan obviously favored Zhizhong, but Demigod Changhong suppressed Zhizhong. It's just that he was taken advantage of. He just said it truthfully, and it didn't have much to do with him whether he was happy or unhappy. After the game, everyone left, and he had little chance to contact the people in Yun's Hang Palace. If you were talented enough, you wouldn't have to submit to the Lord of the Northern Continent. Then just follow the rules, Changhong said half divinely. But he thought in his heart, in a quarter of an hour, Zhizhong could only recover to the 6th level of cultivation at most. If Lu Yu couldn't defeat him like this, then there was nothing he could do. Wei Lan, the demigod, can't do anything about it. The rules are there, and it's useless to talk about them. He glanced at Zhizhong, he couldn't help, he had to rely on himself. Bai Wuqian announced a quarter-hour break for the last game. Zhizhong had known the rules for a long time, so he was not surprised at all. He walked to the seat next to Lu Yu, sat down cross-legged, took out a spirit-restoring pill and threw it into his mouth without hesitation, and began to practice to restore his spiritual power. Lu Yu watched him the whole time, and squinted his eyes when he took out the pill. If he read correctly, the spirit-restoring pill that Zhizhong took was probably above the 8th grade. There seemed to be golden lines on it, which was perfect. Only high-quality elixirs can be found. Could it be that Yan Xianglou is an 8th level alchemist, an 8th level alchemist who can refine elixirs of perfect quality? Lu Yu's heart was severely shaken, and only then did he realize how ignorant he was when he mistook Yan Xianglou for one of those beautiful vase women. How did he know that what Zhizhong took was not the 8th grade elixir, but the god-level elixir, which was specially refined for him by Yan Xianglou for the continental hegemony competition? Only his elixirs are of god-level quality. Everyone else's elixirs are all of the 6th grade, including Fang 11 ERs. They are all of the 6th grade, and they are not all of perfect quality. So it is true and false. So that people can't figure out her real alchemy water. This elixir restores spiritual energy. After taking the elixir, Zhizhong felt that even the pores in his body were absorbing spiritual energy, and the consumed spiritual energy in his dantian was quickly replenished. He himself was surprised that the spiritual restoration pill refined by Luo was actually used to restore spiritual power in this way. Restoring spiritual power in this way was like practicing recovery by himself, and he could return to the perfect state before the competition. I felt deeply that Luo's alchemy skills were indeed very powerful. At such a speed, it would take less than a quarter of an hour for his spiritual power to return to its original state. Changhong demigod didn't want Zhizhong to take advantage, so when the time came, he immediately asked Bai Wuqian to announce the start of the last game. Zhizhong opened his eyes and started fighting. He was surprised by the amount of spiritual power in his dantian. Luo's god-level spiritual restoration pill actually has such an effect. Not only is the recovery method different, but the spiritual power he recovers is also different. It is actually more abundant than his previous spiritual power. In this way, the price he paid for Lu Yu was much smaller, and he was immediately confident. Lu Yu got up when he got up and looked at Zhizhong, but Zhizhong didn't look at him at all and walked directly to the ring. Lu Yu frowned and took a quick step towards the ring. As soon as the two of them stood on the top, Bai Wuqian announced the start of the game. Everyone in the audience was very excited and wanted to know who of the two would win. Even the Lord of the Old Continent is now worried. Zhizhong was so unexpected that he couldn't guarantee that his son could beat Zhizhong. The two of them looked at each other, and Lu Yu didn't compare his moods with him, and just started fighting. A fierce battle broke out as soon as it started. Everyone sighed and wondered in their hearts who of the two was in a better state of mind. Lu Yu's weapon is also a long sword, and Zhizhong also uses a long sword. The fighting situation between the two is not inferior to that of the previous game. It can be said that they are even better. The two people's fighting strength is actually stronger than the previous game. Yan Xianglou had seen Lu Yu's luck before when Ji Zhong was recovering his spiritual power. There were no signs of impending disaster in his luck, and the color of his luck aperture was also good. This also showed that Lu Yu would not suffer anything in this game. Seriously injured, will Lu Yu win this competition? There was worry in her eyes. She was not worried that Ji Zhong would lose, but that he was desperately trying to win. If the opponent is not Lu Yu, she is not worried. Just because the opponent is Lu Yu and Ji Zhong knows Lu Yu's thoughts about her, she is worried that Ji Zhong has lost his mind. Time passed little by little, and the first round took more than half an hour. When the two stopped fighting, everyone burst into exclamations when they saw their figures. This is really intense. The clothes on the two of them can no longer be seen in their original appearance. They are like two beggars, hanging in pieces. If the inner clothes were not still intact, I'm afraid the game wouldn't be able to continue. Ji Zhong raised his hand, took out a robe and put it on, but the thin material inside was knocked off by his spiritual power. Lu Yu also changed into another one. The corner of Yan Xiangluo's mouth twitched. These two were childish. They were just competing. Why did they tear off each other's clothes? She knew it without even thinking. It was Lu Yu who provoked him first, and Ji Zhong returned it. The two of them were like this. The same goes for Lu Yu. Ji Zhong is not someone to be trifled with. He will treat you how you treat him. Lu Yu also knew that he was childish, but at that moment he wanted to make Ji Zhong look embarrassed, but he didn't expect Ji Zhong to come back quickly and make him equally embarrassed. They were both in the same state of embarrassment, so it was impossible to tell who had made a fool of himself. After changing clothes, the two of them fought together again. In fact, everyone couldn't see anything except a big light group. Yan Xianglou couldn't see the trajectory of the two people's battle. Even the continental masters with god-level cultivation could only watch and rest for a while, otherwise they would not be able to keep up mentally. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 603. Only two demigods from Yun's Hang Palace could watch the whole process. The more they watched, the more frightened they became. Isn't Ji Zhong an 8th level saint? How could such combat power be possessed by an 8th level saint? It seems that the combat effectiveness has been improved a lot than before. Wei Lan was shocked and at the same time felt relieved, so he just let him rest for a quarter of an hour. Look at the card, and he became even more powerful. Chang Hong's face turned dark. He didn't care who won the first place. However, the palace master only had one request, which was that the first place could not be someone from a lower continent. Now it seems that the decision is in doubt. He could imagine the anger of the palace owner after returning. Now only Ji Zhong himself knows why his combat power increased without warning. It is related to two things. One is the harvest of encountering the Sea of Mind in the small world of Yun's Hang Palace. The second is the god-level spirit restoring pill that Luoluo gave him. He had expected an increase in combat power and even cultivation. In the lower continent, he encountered a Sea of Mind once, and his cultivation and state of mind improved at a speed that shocked him. Encountering the Sea of Mind again, he knew that he would have another chance like this, but it would not come so soon. However, Luoluo's restoring spirit pill seemed to be a primer, which improved his combat effectiveness first. At this moment, Ji Zhong realized that he was about to advance, but no, he couldn't advance in front of everyone. Ji Zhong thought of various possibilities before participating in the Continental Hegemony tournament, but he just didn't expect that he would advance in front of everyone. His promotion was golden. In addition to being promoted in front of his father and his subordinates, he was also promoted in front of Yan Xianglue. Zhizhong knew very well what would happen if his color when he was promoted was exposed. But now promotion is imminent, what should we do? Yan Xianglue's eyes narrowed when she saw Zhizhong's condition. Something was wrong. What happened to him? He is obviously very powerful in combat, why is his eyes so solemn? Only then did Yan Xianglue realize that she seemed to know Zhizhong very well. She could detect even the slightest change in his eyes. Lu Yu also noticed that something was wrong with Zhizhong. Why did he suddenly have a lot more spiritual power? The main reason was that it was so obvious that it was impossible not to notice it. If the arena is isolated by a barrier, people outside should be able to sense it. Is he going to advance? There are only two possibilities for a person's spiritual power to soar. One is to take a pill that increases spiritual power, and the other is to advance. But he has been fighting Zhizhong, and he has no chance to take the pill, so the only result is that he will advance. Lu Yu was not surprised that Zhizhong was promoted to the 9th level of the holy level. He was worried that his situation would be very bad if Zhizhong was promoted to the 9th level. If Zhizhong were to advance now, the arena would be so big and he would be excluded by the promotion team. Does that count as his loss? Forget it, promotion is also a kind of his strength, and he didn't cheat. Suddenly Lu Yu realized that he had no chance of winning the first place. At this moment, Zhizhong's phoenix eyes flashed with a decisive light. He absolutely couldn't advance at this time, so there was only one way. He looked at Lu Yu and said to himself, Lu Yu, I'm sorry. No matter what the quarrel with Lu Yu was, during the competition, Lu Yu was still open-minded. Although he wanted to make a fool of himself, he did it openly. Looking at this alone, Zhizhong felt a little better about Lu Yu's personality. He did not expect that he would be promoted at this time, so he could only use Lu Yu as an outlet. One of the main conditions for promotion is sufficient spiritual power. If you want to avoid promotion, you can only release most of the spiritual power, so the conditions for promotion will not be established. Thinking of this, Zhizhong did not hesitate and directly mobilized the spiritual power in his dantian in mid-air to launch his strongest attack. Lu Yu's eyelids twitched, and he suddenly felt that something bad had happened. He stared at Zhizhong. What other trump card did he have that he didn't use? Just as he was thinking about it, Zhizhong's attack broke out. Lu Yu couldn't help but curse when he saw the powerful attack. He already understood that Zhizhong was indeed going to advance, but he gave up the opportunity to advance and instead used the spiritual power of the advancement to fight against himself. Lu Yu was very aware of Zhizhong's fighting power. Now that he had the spiritual power to advance, his spiritual power was consumed a lot and he couldn't withstand his attack, so he lost. Although he really didn't want to lose to Zhizhong, Lu Yu was still very sensible and kept Xianxia alive without fear of running out of firewood. He couldn't risk his life just because of his whim. But he couldn't just admit defeat. He also used his strongest blow to resist, but he was ready to use his strength to fall down the ring. Zhizhong didn't understand. Even if he was promoted, the promotion was strong enough to make him fall out of the ring. He also won. Why did he choose to suppress the promotion and attack himself? It is obviously the best of both worlds, why did he give up one of them? You must know that the opportunity to advance to each level of the saint level is very rare. If he misses this time, he may not know when he will be promoted. Although Zhizhong's talent and strength will not delay his promotion for too long, Lu Yuzhen absolutely does not need to suppress the promotion. I knew in my heart that Zhizhong must have some plans. It is not his goal to knock himself out of the ring, he is sure of that. In my heart, I feel that Zhizhong is always able to do unexpected things. He is such a strange person. Zhizhong saw Lu Yu's actions and knew that he had wisely made the decision that was best for him and admitted defeat. When their eyes met, only the two of them understood the meaning. With a bang, this was the most intense competition in the history of the continental competition. The demigod barrier was almost broken by the shock. However, demigod Wei Lan and demigod Xianxia reacted quickly and rose up from the air to protect you. Boundary. Although it is the last game, if this attack power breaks the barrier, the aftermath of the attack power will definitely hurt the people watching the game, and the consequences will be unbearable. Xianxia demigod was cursing in his heart. How could he be so unlucky? Last time the people sent by Yun's Hang Palace were laughed at for a long time when they returned, so much so that the two people did not dare to show their faces for a year. It's great now that he's here. There will be more topics of ridicule when he goes back. He can predict how exciting the days will be after he goes back. Needless to say, the first place in this competition was taken away by a low-class mainlander again. Not only that, but also almost destroyed the barrier set up by him and the demigod Wei Lan. In addition, the matter of the small world's mind C and Ximenhong use weapons. The more I thought about Xianxia, the more panicked demigod became. Why is there so much going on in this continental competition? Lu Yu was well prepared, so he used his strength to fall down onto the ring, but Ji Zhong's attack exceeded his expectations and he was still injured, but not very seriously. After the attack power disappeared, Xianxia demigod broke the barrier with a dark face. This time the barrier was really useless. The fragrance falls ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 604. Chapter 604 to Luoluo. Why did your spiritual power suddenly increase so much? Xianxia asked in a very troubled tone. Ji Zhong said calmly, I wanted to advance, but I suppressed it. Even though they all guessed that this was the case, but Ji Zhong said it calmly, they still felt that he was too wasteful, and it was a pity that the opportunity to advance was wasted by him. You can win first place without suppressing the promotion at all, why do you do this? Demigod Xianxia was also very confused about this. Ji Zhong glanced at Lu Yu, who got up from the ground and said, it's just respecting the opponent. If it were me, I would also hope to be defeated by the opponent, not by the power of promotion. The people watching immediately started to sigh one after another. What is the reason for this? Lu Yu glanced at him, and he knew in his heart that Ji Zhong was definitely not for this reason. He felt that it made no difference to him whether he was defeated by his spiritual power or by the power of his promotion. Although Xianxia demigod didn't believe it, he didn't know what he was thinking, and couldn't continue to ask. It seemed a bit aggressive. It was already a fact that Ji Zhong was number one. He couldn't change it, and he didn't want to offend such a person. He is a monster genius who cannot even see the bottom line. I glanced at him and went back to the referee's stand. Demigod Wei Lan smiled at Ji Zhong, feeling extremely proud. His little girl had such a good taste in choosing men. Ji Zhong raised his eyebrows. The demigod Wei Lan really treated him differently. He went back and asked Luoluo what happened these days. Bai Wukan glanced at the demigod Xianxia, who returned to the referee's table. After getting his signal, he quickly announced the final ranking. Ji Zhong was ranked first, Lu Yu was ranked second, and Lu Yu was ranked third. Ji Zhong stood on the ring without getting down, waiting for the other 9 people in the top 10 to come on stage. Because Ximenhong was eliminated, the 11th place was brought up, and the 101st place was also brought up. It was as if the two of them had picked up someone who was ranked 10th or 100. They were extremely surprised, especially the 10th place. There was only one difference between them, and his status was completely different. The rewards are very generous, especially for the first place. The prize is actually a crystal heart of white crystal. This is an extremely rare treasure. It takes hundreds of thousands of years for a white crystal vein to cultivate one. White crystal, it is the only crystal that can absorb power for cultivation regardless of spiritual roots. The rewards for first place are all the treasures brought out by Xuanhuan Palace. It can be seen that Xuanhuan Palace has a lot of treasures. Xuanhuan took the white crystal heart and thought, give it to Luoluo to play with, she will be happy. After all, this is the reward he got, and it has a different meaning from other things given to her. After awarding the rewards, demigod Xianxia announced that the top 10 can go to Xuanhuan Palace to practice for 1 month, the top 3, second and third can practice for 3 months, and the first place can practice for 1 year. This is the main reason why everyone wants to get first place. Go to Xuanhuan Palace to practice for 1 year. If you are at the peak of the 9th level of the holy level, you are guaranteed to break through to the god level and become a member of the Xuanhuan Palace. Xianxia demigod also announced that the top 100 people can enter the Xianxia secret realm to practice in 1 month. The specific time will be notified when the time comes. Almost all the people in the top 100 leave Yaoguang City and set off for the Xianxia secret realm. The Xianxia secret realm is located in the northern continent, but the location is a bit remote. The temperature there is much colder than here, so they have to prepare clothes to keep out the cold. You can't always rely on spiritual power to keep out the cold, and no one has that much spiritual power. Xianxia secret realm is one of the mysterious experience secret realms in the higher continent, and it requires the joint efforts of several demigods to open it. Because this competition was in the northern continent, I chose to practice in the Xianxia secret realm in the northern continent. Whether it is Xuanhuan Palace or going to experience in the secret realm, there is a fixed token. When the time comes, you will only recognize the token and not the person. In other words, if you lose the token, you will lose the qualification to enter. Xuanhuan, the first place player, can also go to Xianxia secret realm to practice first, and then go to the strongest secret realm in the mainland to practice. The strongest secret realm can only be opened after 3 months. Xuanhuan got 3 tokens in total, 1 for going to Xianxia secret realm, 1 for Xuanhuan Palace, and 1 for going to the highest level secret realm in the mainland. Xuanhuan was calm from beginning to end, but only he knew that it was very hard for him to suppress his spiritual power. Although the blow to Lu Yu consumed a lot of spiritual energy, it only delayed the promotion time. He is eager to leave here now. This promotion is coming fiercely, and he cannot suppress it for long. Finally, Bai Wuqian announced that a banquet will be held in the city lord's mansion tomorrow to celebrate the top 100 in the competition. At that time, the 2 demigods from Xuanhuan Palace and the lords of the continent will all participate. This is also the rule. Finally, it was announced that the continental competition was over. Bai Wuqian finally breathed a sigh of relief. After the banquet tomorrow, he will really be done with it. He has been carrying this heart these days. His daughter's face should be healed tomorrow. The miracle doctor is not someone who doesn't keep his word. Xuanhuan was the first to get off the ring and walk towards the exit. Although Xuanhuan seemed to outsiders to be calm and unhurried, Yan Xianglou saw that he was in a hurry to leave and knew that something must be wrong with him, so she quickly pulled Qihao toward the exit. The racers and the spectators walked through different passages. They both came out first, so they met at the intersection. No one had come out at this time. The business people outside were stunned when they saw the 2 of them. The game inside was over? Hurry up and cheer up to do business. This is the last day of the continental competition. There will be a banquet held at the city lord's palace tomorrow, and everyone will leave Yaoguang City after that. Their business will be booming today and tomorrow, and then they will return to normal. What's wrong with you? Yan Xianglou asked. Xuanhuan said, I'm going to advance. Hearing this, Yan Xianglou immediately understood why his attack was so powerful and why he was so anxious. Hurriedly took him and Qihao and walked back. Xuanhuan has not forgotten the white crystal heart. He handed the brocade box containing the crystal heart to Yan Xianglou and said, give it to Luoluo. Yan Xianglou was stunned. She didn't expect that Jizhong actually gave the prize to herself. Although he had given herself many things before, even the jewelry came in a big box and was made by himself, but this didn't mean anything. Same. In this life, anyone can only participate in the continental competition once, and he can only get the reward once. So he gave it to her like this. You don't want to keep it? Xianxia asked. This is the first time I participated in the competition. I gave it to Luoluo, Jizhong said stubbornly. Xianxia glanced at him and understood what he meant. She didn't refuse and put it away. Okay. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 605. Chapter 605, Don't follow him. Since Jizhong gave it to her, she kept it. She learned from reading novels in another life that a man hopes to share his honor with his favorite woman. She thought that this is how Jizhong feels now. He would be sad if she didn't accept it. And the main thing now is to go back quickly and let Jizhong enter her Pango space to advance. Sure enough, she accepted it happily, and Jizhong's eyes lit up. This made Xianxia even more certain that he did mean this. Qihao watched from the side and felt that he was suddenly panicking. If he knew the word dog food, he would know what happened to him. At this time, he just envied the relationship between his master and his father. It also reminded him that his parents were here. Although they were not like his master and master, they still had a very good relationship. The mood was a little dull for a moment. When the people in the competition venue were just leaving, the three of them had already arrived at the entrance of the alley where they lived. The reason why it was so fast was that Xianxia pulled the two of them and flew into the air along the way. If it weren't for the fact that flying in the air was not allowed in the city, she would definitely have taken them directly to fly in the air. As soon as she entered the mansion, Xianxia let Qihao play by himself, and pulled Jizhong and ran towards her yard. Qihao frowned because he thought of his father and mother who were not in a good mood. What happened? Why is the master in such a hurry? He didn't see anything wrong with his master, either. He rubbed his head and couldn't figure it out. He wanted to see Xian again, so he waited in the front yard for Xian and others to come back. With such a mix-up, his sadness about missing his parents was all mixed up. Xianxia pulled Jizhong directly into her room. She didn't even need to say anything to close the door, and Jizhong entered the Pango space. He has been suppressed to the limit. If he does not advance, his dantian will be burst. As soon as he entered Pango space, he let go of the suppression, and the golden light of promotion fell instantly. The golden light was stronger than when he advanced before, and he began to advance. Jizhong's promotion this time was not long. In about a quarter of an hour, he was promoted to the 9th level of the holy level, and it was the intermediate level of the 9th level. This was something he did not expect. Even if he encountered the Sea of Mind in the small world of Yun's Hang Palace, it would not have an effect so quickly. A bright light flashed across his phoenix eyes, which must be because of Luoluo's god-level spirit-restoring pill. When Xian and the others came back, Jizhong had already come out of Pango space and was sitting drinking tea and talking with Xianxia. Even though their top 100 players are not eligible to participate in subsequent competitions, they cannot leave the competition venue. No, they will only come back after the continental competition. As soon as they came in, they saw Qihao waiting for them, and asked in unison, "Xiaohao, what's wrong, master?" Qihao shook his head, "I don't know." "Where are they?" Xian asked. "In the master's courtyard," Qihao said matter-of-factly. Once they heard that Jizhong was in the courtyard of Xianxia, they thought that Jizhong had suffered some injury that they could not see, so they hurried towards Xianxia's courtyard. Qihao felt worried when he saw them like this. "Is there really something wrong with master?" Followed quickly. Music Xian, Changfeng, and Jin Yutang saw that Zhizhikong and Yuan Xiangluo knew something was wrong with their master before they could wait for them, but they didn't know what it was. They were very worried. As soon as they let them go, they hurried back and listened again. Hao was worried about what he said. When they came to Yan Xiangluo's yard, they were relieved to see Zhizhihong sitting with Yan Xiangluo drinking tea and chatting. I was wondering in my heart, is the master leaving in such a hurry just to talk to Miss Yu alone as soon as possible? Are you in such a hurry? Chi Hao's little heart dropped again. Just say, how can something happen to the master? Changfeng noticed it anyway. Master, have you been promoted again? Jin Yutang actually noticed it, but he just didn't ask because he was used to not saying much. Music Xian really didn't notice it. After all, among the three of them, he had the lowest cultivation level. After hearing Changfeng's words, Zhizhihong looked at Zhizhikong in shock, and then said in hindsight, the pressure on the master seems to have become stronger again. Although Zhizhihong restrained his pressure, it was impossible for him to lose it at all. Music Xian usually sensed Zhizhihong's physical condition through the pressure on him, so he was used to this method. He is an alchemist, and his level is not low, but because of the evildoer Yan Xiangluo, he has never straightened up in the matter of alchemy. Especially after coming to the higher continent, I have been focusing on improving my cultivation, but there has been no progress in alchemy. Zhijudian nodded and said, well, it's the 9th level of the saint. Congratulations, master, the three of them said in unison, the joy in their voices could not be concealed. How many people have entered the top 100? Zhizhihong asked. Jin Yutang has already counted all the hidden guards who have entered the top 100 in the continental competition. Not counting the three of us, a total of 19 people have entered the top 100, Jin Yutang replied. Yan Xiangluo admired the strength of Zhizhihong's people in her heart. Their cultivation was not as good as others. To have so many people enter the top 100, you can imagine how much price they paid. Let them find a place to stabilize their cultivation, and wait for the Xianxia secret realm to open to go in and experience it. The other Renzixian who did not enter the top 100 will arrange for them to act according to the plan. The other hidden guards will go with us to the G family land. Zhizhihong took over directly. The plan to come down was given. Yes, the three of them responded in unison. Music Xian asked again, Master, when will we set off? I will go to the banquet at the city lord's mansion tomorrow morning. Changfeng will follow me. You clear the courtyard, then leave directly and wait for me first. Zhizhihong thought for a moment and said. Changfeng is Zhizhihong's attendant and has been with him since he was a child. They are also used to this arrangement. After the three of them left, Music Xian took away Chi Hao, who was looking at their master with big eyes. The usually smart boy was suddenly stunned. He couldn't let Chi Hao delay his master's time with Miss Yu. He was leaving tomorrow, and the master must have something to tell Miss Yu. After the four people left, Zhizhihong said to Yan Xiangluo, I want to go to the G family land before entering the Xianxia secret realm. Luo, please come with me. While speaking, hand her the token to enter the Xianxia secret realm. Yan Xiangluo looked at the token and shook his head and said, I won't go to the G family land with you, and I don't plan to enter the Xianxia secret realm. Zhizhihong was stunned. He had planned it before taking part in the competition. After winning first place, this secret realm was left to Luo. He went to the most advanced secret realm in the mainland to experience it. This secret realm can be entered as long as you have a token. The highest secret realm is not, and you must enter it yourself. But now Luo refused, and refused so happily, he didn't know what she was thinking. Why, Zhizhihong's heart was heavy. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 606. Xuanhuan said, I don't go with you to the G family land because you need the blood of the G family to enter there. I will wait for you outside when I go, and it will distract you and worry about my safety. As for the Xianxia secret realm, I think it's more appropriate for you to give it to someone who needs it more. I plan to go into the palace magic weapon to practice it after you enter the secret realm. I found that there are still functions in it that I haven't discovered yet, and I haven't practiced it to the 9th level yet. You can trust me when you enter the secret realm. After Xuanhuan listened to her words, he looked at her with phoenix eyes. After all, his little girl had changed and became more independent. She understood what she wanted to do. Not only did she learn not to rely on him, but she also learned to share his worries. He didn't know whether to be happy or sad. Xuanhuan continued, and I still have things to do. She told Xuanhuan what she had encountered in the yard, and Xuanhuan was speechless. She had the power to control souls and seemed to have a lot more things to do. Not only people could trouble her, but her soul body could also trouble her. Seeing that he didn't speak, Xuanhuan continued, it's just a deal. I can tell his son the truth. Don't worry, I won't go with my true identity and appearance. If I take someone else's things, I have to fulfill my promise. Then I'm going to pay my respects to Master Shi at the Divine Doctor Mountain, and I also want to see my sworn brother. Sworn brother, Xuanhuan was stunned. Everything Xuanhuan said made his heart beat with fear. Except for the transaction with the soul body, which he knew about, the other two things happened when he was no longer by her side. He went to the Divine Doctor Mountain. He could still accept it calmly, but what happened to the last thing? When did she have a foster brother? Xuanhuan knew what he was thinking when she saw his expression. He is the sworn brother I sworn to when I was in the Tianqian continent. He was from the demon realm. I rescued him when he was in trouble. I lost my temper and sworn my sworn brother. Because of his identity, and the fact that we have been uneasy since we came to the higher continent. I didn't contact him. Now that my reputation has spread, my sworn brother got the news about me and arranged for someone to come yesterday. I promised my sworn brother to go to see him after he went to the Divine Doctor Mountain. Xuanhuan explained patiently. Xuanhuan did not hide the fact that his sworn brother was from the demon world. This matter could not be hidden for a while, so it was better to say it frankly. Xuanhuan must tell the truth whether she can accept it or not. Although it is clear that she wants to be independent and not dependent on Xuanhuan, the relationship between the two still exists, and she does not want him to misunderstand anything. A man from the demon world? What's his name? Xuanhuan's eyes narrowed. This news shocked him even more than just knowing that she had a sworn brother. The people from the demon world went to the lower continent and were rescued by Luoluo. This shows that his identity and strength are not ordinary, otherwise he would not be able to walk back and forth between the lower continent and the higher continent. Being able to be rescued by Luoluo, he must have been in a very bad situation at the time, which also shows that he was not safe around him. Tianjun Xuanhuan said matter-of-factly. Luoluo, are you sure your adopted brother is called Tianjun? Xuanhuan's eyes changed when he heard this. He really didn't expect Luoluo's adopted brother to be him. Xuanhuan nodded, are you sure? What's the matter? Do you know him? Xuanhuan looked at Xuanhuan and said, don't Luoluo know his identity in the demon world? Xuanhuan shook her head again, I haven't paid much attention to things in the demon world. The demon king of the demon world is called Tianjun, Xuanhuan said in a helpless tone. What kind of luck is Luoluo? He saved a demon cultivator in the lower continent and turned out to be the king of the demon world. Huh, Xuanhuan was really surprised this time. No wonder the people who came yesterday always felt something was wrong. They were the demon king, so they were naturally different. Thinking about how naive Ge Tianjun was, she had never thought about Ge Tianjun's identity even when the Tianma continent was on the verge of total destruction. Where are Luoluo going to meet him? Ji Zhong was very worried. It hasn't been decided yet. We have made an appointment for me to go to the Divine Medical Mountain to pay homage to Master Shi and then contact him, and then we will arrange to meet there. Yuan Xiangloo didn't lie, it was indeed decided like this. Luo knows his identity and still wants to see him, Ji Zhong asked. Go, no matter who he is, it doesn't matter to me. In my eyes, he is just my adopted brother. When we became sworn brothers, we made an oath to the sky to never betray each other. Naturally, we have to do it. There was no hesitation. She was also surprised that her adopted brother's identity was actually the king of the demon world. However, as she said, Ge Tianjun's identity would not change anything for her. As long as Ge Tianjun did not break his promise, she would be Ge Tianjun's sister, and Ge Tianjun would be his sister. Her brother. Ji Zhong knew that her decision would not be changed easily, not to mention that they made an oath to the sky and were bound by the law of heaven. Although he was unhappy with her sudden appearance of her adopted brother, he would respect Yu Xiangluo's decision. I just know in my heart that once their relationship is exposed in the future, it will definitely be a big trouble. He still needs to be stronger. He feels that he has progressed quickly enough, but it is not as fast as Luoluo can position him. In a few words, he has become the Demon King's brother-in-law. If he is not strong, can he do it? Let Xixian follow you. There will be hidden guards in the dark to protect you, Ji Zhong said. Without waiting for Xiangloo to say something, Ji Zhong went on, this is my bottom line, and you always have to rest assured to go to the Ji family. Ji Zhong has said this, and Yan Xiangluo can no longer refuse. Besides, she is also taking Qi Hao with her, and it is indeed safer and more convenient to have Mu Xixian with her. Okay, Yan Xiangluo agreed after thinking for a while. Ji Zhong is not very relieved, but this is the best arrangement. He should arrange more people in the dark. After meeting your sworn brother, will Luoluo go back to Xiangyang City? Ji Zhong asked again. Yan Xiangluo nodded, well, after the matter is done, I will go back to Xiangyang City. I don't know when Master and Master will go to Xiangyang City. Although Yan Xiangluo still wanted to find her parents, there was no news at all in the vast mainland. Where could she go to find them? You can only go back to Xiangyang City first and practice to improve your cultivation level. Ji Zhong felt relieved knowing that she would go back to Xiangyang City. He was not planning to go to Xianxia secret realm, and neither was Luoluo, so he gave his token to Yutang and asked him to make arrangements. By the way, what's going on with demigod Wei Lan? Ji Zhong asked, remembering demigod Wei Yan's special care for him. When mentioning demigod Wei Lan, Yan Xiangluo started talking again and told him that demigod Wei Lan felt that he had the same bloodline as her. Ji Zhong said in surprise, is it from your mother's clan? He didn't think that the demigod Wei Lan would misunderstand his own bloodline. With his cultivation level, it was not difficult for a demigod to sense the same bloodline. There was probably something wrong with Luoluo's bloodline. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 607. The Yu family has no secrets in front of the royal family of the Tianshan Empire. Ji Zhong is sure that the Yu family has no bloodline information from the higher mainland, so it can only be the Long family. It is not impossible that some of the Wei family's blood is outside the family. A big family like the Wei family has a lot of overt and covert fights within it. Yan Xiangluo sighed, I don't know, demigod Wei Lan will go check it out. Although I didn't agree to let him go to the Wei family and use any blood vein stone to verify the bloodline, a family like the Wei family will definitely not allow any blood to be left outside. Demigod Wei Lan promised me that before I decided to go back to the Wei family, he would not talk about me to anyone in the Wei family, but he would definitely check it out secretly. He has the identity of Yun's Hang Palace and is stronger than us. He was born and raised here. He is a high-ranking mainlander and his connections should be wider than ours. It would be much easier for him to check than for us. I don't want to find out some family in a daze. Ji Zhong heard what Yan Xiangluo said and sighed in his heart. Luoluo is indeed very smart. She can always find the best solution quickly after something happens. It's not just her who is related by blood, but also her parents. Her parents can't find anyone now, and they don't know what their situation is. It's best to postpone the matter in advance. I will also arrange for people to check, Ji Zhong said. He was not used to relying on others. To be precise, he believed more in the information found by his people. He planned to buy all the information about the Wei family from people first, and then see if there were any hidden clues, and then check it out. This would be much easier. We still need to establish our own information source channels as soon as possible to make it more convenient and credible. Yan Xiangluo didn't object either. She knew that objection would be ineffective. Besides, between demigod Wei Lan and Ji Zhong, she trusted Ji Zhong more. When will you set off tomorrow? Ji Zhong asked. Since Luoluo decided not to go with him, the two of them would have to separate. Go to the banquet and bring the elixir to Bai Wuqian. Tell him that if you apply it once a day in the morning and evening, you will be back to your original state in 3 days. I will leave with Xixian and the others. Yuan Xiangluo didn't want to stay in Yaoguang City any longer. When she talked about leaving, she remembered that she was only worried about Ji Zhong and didn't say goodbye to Fang 11er when she left the competition venue. She didn't know if she would have a chance to see her tomorrow. Ji Zhidian nodded and said, "Okay, Luoluo will leave first. I'll feel more at ease." What is he worried about? Yan Xiangluo knows it without asking. It is naturally Lu Yu. She doesn't know Lu Yu, and she doesn't know whether Lu Yu will take action against her under the current circumstances. The more this happened, the more she wanted to leave as soon as possible. She didn't want to have anything to do with Lu Yu. The two of them said everything they needed to say. After discussing it, Yan Xiangluo went to make dinner. Chi Hao didn't come to join in the fun, so only the two of them ate together. It's not that Chi Hao didn't want to join in the fun, but Xixian and the three of them pulled him to eat together. They couldn't let Chi Hao be an eyesore in front of their master. During this time, they all noticed that there were changes in the relationship between the master and Miss Yu, and they all wanted them to stay alone together to cultivate their relationship. At this time, Lu Yugong met his father. He was not surprised at all. His father was not unhappy that he did not win the first place, and even persuaded him to let go. Ji Zhong was too lucky and did not blame him. Lu Yu naturally understands why his father is so tolerant to him. He likes him for one reason, and the other is that his cultivation level is close to his, and he is much younger than him. He is definitely the Lu family's future support, no matter whether he is in his twilight years or not. Lord of the continent. With the old age, the master of the mainland gave him some pills and mysterious patterns, and told him not to take it lightly when entering the Xianxia secret realm. There were also many enemies of the Lu family. Although Lu Yu's attitude was careless, the lord of the late continent knew that it was just his appearance and that the son had extremely strong ideas. He returned to his place of residence and listened to his family members report what happened during the past few days of his game. Xianxia went out on the day I went to the competition and never came back. Lu Yu's eyes were uncertain. Yes, I didn't see her until night. I sent someone out to look for her. Someone saw her leaving the city early in the morning, the subordinate reported cautiously. The implication is that she left the city and never came back. Xianxia was waiting for this opportunity to leave her master. Lu Yu narrowed his eyes and said, "Ignore him. There will be no such person in the future." The subordinate, who was half kneeling on the ground, understood that this meant that even if Xianxia came back, the master would no longer accept her. The reason why he didn't kill her was because she had served her master. Lu Yu knew in his heart that once a person who has been branded with the slave mark leaves, it means that the slave mark on his body can no longer control him. This is the case for Miao Xianxia and the same for Xianxia. At this time, Lu Yu will no longer look down on people from the lower mainland, and they are all capable. Yan Xianglue was the first woman he fell in love with, Ji Zhozhong was the first person to honor away from him, and even Miao Xianxia and Xianxia, who had been branded slaves by him, were able to do so in a short time. Get rid of him within a few months. They are all from lower continents, or from the same continent. He is a little curious about what kind of continent this place called Tianqian continent is. It has cultivated so many geniuses without strong spiritual energy. After letting his subordinates go down, Lu Yu snapped his fingers, and a man in black robe appeared in front of him. Master! Tomorrow I will go to the city lord's palace for a banquet. You can keep an eye on Yan Xianglue yourself. As long as you know her whereabouts, you will not be discovered. Yes, the man responded and disappeared. His cultivation level was actually higher than Lu Yu's. There is only one kind of person like this, that is, a person who swears an oath of allegiance and uses special methods to improve his cultivation level to the level. However, such a person can only reach this level in the future and will never be able to advance. But not everyone has a chance to break through to the God level. Most people are stuck before the God level, and not everyone can afford this method. Therefore, not everyone has such an opportunity. Big families will use this method just to get strong and loyal subordinates. Lu Yu has been favored by the Lord of the Old Continent since he was a child. Naturally, he has such subordinates, and not just one. Lu Yu originally wanted to kidnap Ruan Xianglue directly, but now he changed his mind. No matter whether they were kidnapped or because of his wealth and power, none of the women really followed him. Ruan Xianglue was the only one who didn't look at him seriously. On the contrary, he felt that he seemed to treat Ruan Xianglue differently. He was willing to pamper her, give her face, and do it openly. Moreover, Yan Xianglue's medical skills are so high, he doesn't want to find a hidden danger around him, and he can help her win her heart, otherwise he will cause trouble for himself. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 608. Chapter 608. What are the benefits? In a month he will go to the Xianxia secret realm for training. The Xianxia secret realm has a time limit. Once the 1-month period is up, he will be sent out. Hence, he has no time in these 2 months. Whether Ji Zhozhong goes to Xianxia secret realm to practice or not, it doesn't matter to him. Ji Zhozhong will definitely go to the highest level training place in the mainland in 3 months. It is not certain whether he can come out. Even if he can come out, the time will definitely not be short. That period is his opportunity. As for going to Yunzhang Palace, there is no time limit. As long as you hold the token, you can go anytime, even if you are more than 10 or 20 years old. He doesn't think that he can break through to the divine level just by going to the Xianxia secret realm. Although he is already at the 9th level of the holy level, it is still early to break through to the divine level. Only when you reach this level of cultivation can you know how difficult it is to break through to the level, and why so many people who want to break through to the level want to go to Yunzhang Palace. Lu Yu is very self-aware. He only broke through and advanced to the 9th level of saint level cultivation after a month of experience in the secret realm of the Old Age continent. He knew very well that he would not be able to improve his cultivation strength in a short period of time, even if it was going into the Xianxia secret realm to practice can only consolidate your cultivation, unless there are some unexpected encounters. So there is no point in going to Yunzhang Palace now. Lu Yu has always been a very calm person, he knows what he wants, and no one can stop him from doing what he wants to do. With his current cultivation strength, his father will never have any intention of choosing anyone else to replace him as the young master. He is very clear about the talent and strength of the brothers in the family. At least there will be no one in more than 10 or 20 years can reach his level of cultivation. Hence, he can do what he wants to do with confidence and boldness. Xuanhuan didn't know at this time that Lu Yu had changed his approach and wanted to pry his corner openly. Since they were going to separate operations tomorrow, Xuanhuan stayed at Yan Xiangluo's place for a long time, and the two chatted a lot. Xuanhuan told Yan Xiangluo about encountering the Sea of Mind in the small world of Yun's Hang Palace, in case she would miss such an opportunity in the future. I encountered the Sea of Mind once in the Heavenly Punishment Continent. I entered a secret realm in Wanghai Forest, which was also an independent small world. When I encountered the Sea of Mind, I didn't know it was the Sea of Mind. Later, I saw a description of the Sea of Mind in an ancient book, and then I realized that I had encountered a great opportunity. From that time on, my cultivation level improved by leaps and bounds, and my state of mind improved very quickly, Xuanhuan said slowly. Yan Xiangluo asked, is there a Sea of Mind in every small world? Xuanhuan said, the ancient books say this is true, but not every Sea of Mind in the small world can be encountered. Does it need a chance? You have to be very lucky to encounter the secret world of the small world, not to mention the Sea of Mood inside. Yan Xiangluo understands this. What kind of opportunity can one encounter the Sea of Mind? Yan Xiangluo felt that Xuanhuan had encountered it twice and should have some experience. She wanted to know whether her Pangu space was a small world, whether there was a Sea of Mind in it, and if so, how to touch this opportunity. Xuanhuan thought for a moment and said, I've thought about it, and the only similarity between the two encounters with the Sea of Mind is that I broke the highest danger level I had experienced at that time. Yan Xiangluo was a little disappointed when he heard this. This shows that only in the small world of experience can there be a Sea of Mind. Her Pangu space is not a training space, so even the small world is not a small training world. There is no highest danger level. It seems that she is overthinking. The Bronze Tower Palace space magic weapon given to her by her senior brother should be considered it, but Xuanhuan has reached the 9th floor and has not encountered a state of mind in it. Is it not there, or is the Copper Tower Palace magic weapon not high enough? She felt that the small world of experience in Yun's Hang Palace was not as good as her Copper Tower Palace magic weapon. Anyway, she is planning to go into the Copper Tower Palace to practice, so she should be more careful when the time comes, and don't miss it if she encounters it. Does the Sea of Mind have any benefits other than improving the state of mind? Yan Xiangluo really doesn't understand the Sea of Mind. Since Xuanhuan has experienced it twice, let's learn from him. Improving the state of mind is equivalent to increasing the speed of cultivation advancement. This benefit is already great enough, Xuanhuan said with a smile. Only when you have experienced the baptism of the Sea of Mind in person can you understand the impact of the Sea of Mind on the state of mind. Let him say that words cannot describe the true feelings. Is it because of your sudden promotion this time because of the state of mind? Yan Xiangluo asked curiously. The effect was too fast. When he mentioned his promotion, Xuanhuan immediately thought of the elixir and said quickly, it has something to do with the Sea of Mind, but it won't be promoted so quickly. This sudden promotion should be because I took the god-level medicine that Luoluo refined for me. The resurrection pill has something to do with it. Huh? No matter how high the level of the restoration pill is, it can only help you quickly recover your spiritual power. How can it also allow you to advance? Yan Xiangluo was a little confused. Xuanhuan shook his head and said, I don't know, it's just a feeling. After taking the restoring pill, it seemed like it acted as a primer. The spiritual energy in the Danshan surged. If it hadn't been consumed by the strongest attack on Lu Yu, without a part of my spiritual power, I won't be able to come back and make a breakthrough. Yan Xiangluo was extremely confused. Even if she was refining a god-level elixir, it couldn't have such an effect, right? Stretch out your hand, Yan Xiangluo said. Xuanhuan knew Luo wanted to feel his pulse, so he immediately stretched out his hand and put it on the table. Luo felt his pulse and checked his pulse carefully. After a while, she let go and said, "There is nothing wrong." Xuanhuan retracted his hand, "It's just a feeling that's not right, but after Luo you still have to be careful. Don't give God-level elixirs to others easily. This is Xuanhuan's purpose. Although Luo is very defensive, once she treats someone she recognizes sincerely, she will expose some of her own abilities, which is very dangerous for her who has not yet grown up." Okay, Luo responded happily. She originally didn't want to use God-level elixirs on others. Wasn't it because she was worried about Xuanhuan? Now it seems that her worries are not unnecessary. Luo glanced at the soul body that had been standing in the corner of the room. The woman seemed to be afraid of Xuanhuan and never dared to approach. Luo waved to her, "Come here and talk." The woman in the soul body looked at Luo and then at Xuanhuan. The soul body trembled, and she was obviously still very scared. She shook her head, "I'm standing here, I can hear what you say." End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 609. Chapter 609 Your Origin. Luo raised her eyebrows and said, "I don't like people who stay in dark corners, not even the soul body." The woman was speechless. Where would her soul be if it weren't in a dark corner? Xuanhuan realized at this moment that Luo had actually brought the soul body back without directly destroying it. What did she want to do? The soul body woman really had no choice. Xianxia said, "Then you must ask him not to burn me with fire." Xianxia understood clearly. It turned out that she was worried that Xuanhuan would burn her with fire. It seemed that she was afraid of being burned by Xuanhuan's fire today. She nodded and said, "Don't worry, he won't burn you with fire." Hearing this, the woman still hesitated. Xuanhuan's flames were so terrifying. It felt like it could burn away her soul and body, the kind that really left nothing behind. However, she also knew that this little girl, Luo, was not easy to mess with. After all, it was she who had torn off her soul body. If she didn't listen to her, the consequences would be even worse. Shivering, he floated over and stood on Luo's side, 3 or 4 steps away from her, waiting for her to ask questions. Although she has been a soul body for a long time, she has not lost her human consciousness. She knows very well that Luo must have a purpose in leaving her behind. Ever since her soul body was refined and fused with the long sword, she had always thought that she and the long sword would live and die together. She never thought that one day her soul body would be stripped off by the heavenly master. This also indicates that she still has a chance to be reincarnated. This little woman did not directly destroy her soul body. Does she have a chance to be reincarnated? She knew very well that whether she could achieve her goal depended on whether the young celestial master in front of her was willing to help her. Tell me about your origin. Luo glanced at the woman. She brought her back just to find out where she came from so she could decide what to do with her. The woman was stunned. My origin? It happened a long time ago. If Luo hadn't asked, she would have forgotten that she was also a human being and had ever lived in this world. Luo was not in a hurry to wait for her to say anything. At the same time, he struck a soul-controlling power between Xuanhuan's eyebrows, so that he could not only see the soul-body woman but also hear what she said. This is also the skill she has learned from practicing the power of soul control in the past few days. Xuanhuan was stunned when he suddenly saw the soul body, and then realized that it was Luo who opened his eyes. When he heard the screams, Xuanhuan knew that the soul body was a woman, but he was still surprised that the woman was so young. If she died at a very old age, her soul body would not be so young and would age rapidly at the time of death. The consciousness that can be refined into a sword shows that when the woman was alive, her cultivation level must have been high, and she was also a person with a story. This story must still be a tragic story. When the woman saw Xuanhuan looking at her, her soul and body suddenly trembled. His eyes were so scary. She quickly looked away and thought about her origins. It was so far away that she had almost forgotten it. After thinking for a while, she slowly told her origins. My surname is Chen and my name is Xianxia. I was born in an ordinary family. I was lucky enough to awaken my spiritual roots when I was 5 years old. I also have a pretty good talent. I happened to be accepted as a disciple by the Xuanhuan sect who came to our place to recruit disciples. Because of I was so talented that I immediately became an inner disciple. My master was very good to me, and my brothers were also very good to me. I had the most training resources, which made me think that my luck was not that good. Xianxia quietly used the power of soul control. In the power of soul control, a woman must not lie. She wanted to hear the truth so that she could judge how to deal with the woman's soul body. She did not want to be betrayed by a soul body. Got fooled. I entered the sect at the age of 5, and I lived the happiest 20 years of my life. Originally, I thought I would always be so happy, but after I broke through to the level at the age of 25, my master sealed my cultivation and threw me away. After entering the refining furnace and refining it for 49 days, my soul body was forcibly fused with that long sword. The woman's voice trembled a little when she mentioned it. The miserable experience of those 49 days was engraved in her soul. Such a long time has passed, and she still trembles with fear when she thinks about it. That's when I realized that Master's choice of me as his disciple was a conspiracy from the beginning. Because I don't have a strong family behind me, no matter how he treats me, no one will seek revenge from him, and even my family doesn't know who I am. What was the outcome? During those 49 days, I seemed to have tried the punishment of in the 18 levels of hell. I felt that there was no pain in this world that I could not bear. She didn't say anything. This was her previous thought. After being burned by Xuanhuan's flame today, she realized that her master's flame was incomparable to Xuanhuan's flame. If his master's flame had been as good as Xuanhuan's, the flames were so powerful that she probably wouldn't be able to survive it, and her refined soul would fly away immediately. Xianxia's heart sank. A woman who thought she was favored by her master and senior brothers suddenly encountered such betrayal and pain. You can imagine what kind of changes her state of mind has experienced. At this time, the woman suddenly smiled gloomily. He thought that my soul body has been refined into the spiritual consciousness of the weapon. As long as he contracts the weapon, he is equivalent to contracting me, and he can make me obedient and become a sharp weapon in his hands. When Xianxia and Xuanhuan saw the woman's expression, they knew that her master had failed. The woman continued, but he forgot that a weapon with spiritual consciousness is not so easy to contract. I tried my best to resist the power of his contract. God also took pity on me, and actually made him anxious after just refining me. The strength of the contract was much weaker. In the end, my strong resistance defeated him. When I controlled the sword and stabbed into his chest, his eyes were filled with disbelief. The woman suddenly became depressed when she said this. Although I have avenged myself, I am not happy. Because I am a weapon, no longer a person, and cannot be reincarnated. My destiny is merged with the sword together. If the sword is with me, I will die with the sword. From then on, I began to wander around in this world, and I didn't want to be contracted. If I live with a sword like this, I will die. It doesn't matter anymore, but fate played tricks on me again. She has gone through a long period of time from being a person to a spiritual body with weapons. Although there were dangers during this period, they were all within the range that she could solve, but her luck was really not good. Yan Xiangluo and Ji Zhizhong knew that what the woman was going to say next was how she was contracted and what happened after the contract. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 610. Although my soul body is fused with the long sword, I still need to practice to improve my cultivation level. Improving my cultivation level is equivalent to increasing the strength of the weapon. But at the place where I was retreating, I actually discovered the entrance to a secret realm. I was in seclusion and didn't know that the secret realm was about to open. The moment it opened, I was sucked into the secret realm. People came in at any time to practice. I hid everywhere, but eventually I was discovered. Those people discovered that I actually had spiritual consciousness and started robbing me like crazy. Finally, I fell into the hands of a man. His spiritual consciousness was so powerful that I was forced into a contract. From then on, I started a life of killing. Unfortunately, my first master was killed before the end, and I was free again. However, my strength was already very weak due to fighting desperately with my first master. I wanted to find a hidden place to practice and regain my strength, so I decided to do it. I was picked up by my current owner. Because I was extremely weak and had no strength to resist, he easily contracted me. I was taken out of the secret realm by him. You should know what happened next. Yan Xiangluo and Ji Zhizhong didn't expect that things would be like this. The woman's voice can be said to be very simple, but it reveals the inconsolable sadness. Although the misery she has experienced was finished in a moment, as she said, she has experienced the punishment of fire in the 18 levels of hell. That is soul refining, unimaginable pain. Yan Xiangluo used her soul control power to know that she was not lying. Do you want to be reincarnated? Yan Xiangluo asked. The woman was stunned. She naturally wanted to be reincarnated, and she wanted to be reincarnated very much. However, in her current situation, reincarnation was not something she could do if she wanted to, and ordinary heavenly masters could not help her. But since Yan Xiangluo asked her, he could help her. I want to, the woman said without hesitation. She knew that this was her only chance and she didn't want to miss it. Yan Xiangluo nodded, I'll help you. The woman was stunned. Although she knew that Yan Xiangluo was her only chance, she did not expect that even if she prayed for anything, Yan Xiangluo actually directly said that he would help her, making her doubt the credibility of Yan Xiangluo's words. Are you trying to plot something against her again? Yan Xiangluo saw her suspicion. I am a heavenly master. Although I could destroy you directly before, I don't want a soul body to dissipate for no reason. Therefore, I will bring you back, listen to your experience, and see how you feel. Is it an unforgivable crime? Although you have done a lot of evil and harmed many people in disguise, you have not been able to help yourself and have not yet reached the point where you are so unforgivable that I will send you to the underworld. It is your turn. You have to bear it, and after you bear it, you can be reincarnated. Hearing this, the woman said excitedly, Thank you, Lord Heavenly Master. I am grateful. She did not expect that Ruan Xiangluo was such a heavenly master. In her opinion, Ruan Xiangluo's heart and soul were extremely pure, and her own luck was not extremely bad, so she would naturally have to bear the consequences of the evil she had done. Although it was a last resort, it did not mean that it would not happen. After she suffered the cause and effect, she only looked forward to having a beautiful life in the next life. Don't resist, I'll send you to the underworld. Yan Xiangluo looked at the woman and said. The woman nodded, and suddenly asked, Do you believe what I said is true? Yan Xiangluo glanced at her, I don't believe in you, but I believe in my own strength. No soul can tell lies under my power of controlling souls. The woman understood clearly, You are the most special heavenly master I have ever seen. How long has it been since your spiritual consciousness was refined into a weapon? Ji Zhizhong, who had been silent until now, suddenly spoke. The woman still had an instinctive fear of Zhizhong, and immediately said, "I can't remember the specific time, it's about more than 20,000 years." Zhizhong raised his phoenix eyes. This woman has been refined for more than 20,000 years, more than 10 years. She was contracted by Ximen Hongyu not long ago. It seems that she is also an extremely smart person, otherwise she would not have been hiding as a weapon for more than 20,000 years without being found. But he asked her this question not because he was curious about her age, but because he wanted to know if her former master still existed. It has been more than 20,000 years. He can check whether her sect is here. There is no way that there is only one person like this in such a section. Maybe their weapons are all refined using such evil methods. Yan Xiongluo looked at Zhizhong, asking if he had anything else to ask. Zhizhong shook his head. It was useless to ask her anything else. After staying in the sect for 20 years, I have not found anything wrong with the section. Obviously, this secret in the sect is only known by the upper level officials. Yan Xiongluo saw that Zhizhong had no more questions to ask, so she didn't say anything more. A warm soul-controlling force fell on the woman. The woman's soul was wrapped in the soul-controlling power of Yan Xiongluo, and she felt extremely comfortable. She knew that Yan Xiongluo really wanted to send her to the underworld, because she had already sensed the call of the underworld. She knelt down in the power of soul control, kowtowed to Yan Xiongluo, and thanked her for showing mercy and helping her. Got her. Yan Xiongluo accepted her bow and helped her while she bowed to her. This was also the way they settled the cause and effect. She never thought of repaying the woman for helping her. It's good to understand cause and effect in this way. A ray of light flashed, and there was no woman's soul in the room. Zhizhong saw the whole process and understood that she had practiced her soul control power well in the past few days, and also deeply realized the kindness in Yu Xiongluo's heart. Thinking that Junzijian chose her as its master, there is a reason for this. Just and kind-hearted spiritual beings can naturally sense the kindness and justice in people. Luoluo's soul-controlling power has improved a lot. Zhizhong looked at Yang Xiongluo with a smile and said. It was true that this was a compliment to her. Yan Xiongluo sighed, I can't do it unless I make progress. I always encounter things that need to be solved, forcing me to make progress. This is true. If Fang 11ER hadn't been changed by someone and needed to be solved urgently, she wouldn't have worked so hard to learn the power of soul control, and she wouldn't have been able to learn the power of soul control so quickly. Ability. Zhizhong raised his eyebrows and asked, what other things happened in the past few days? Yan Xiongluo thought about Fang 11ER before she told him, so she told him everything from meeting Fang 11ER to now. Zhizhong had heard Xian talk about what happened to them in Changchuan City before, but he didn't expect Luoluo to meet Fang 11ER again, and that such a big thing would happen to the Fang family. Luoluo wants to help her, Zhizhong asked. They can't help with the Fang family's affairs. Such a large family is deeply entrenched and it's not easy to shake it. Yan Xiongluo shook her head, I am self-aware and will not get involved in the Fang family's affairs. I am just helping Fang 11ER change her destiny. She doesn't know. Zhizhong sighed, she will know one day.